Kirk DeSoto, the crypto therapist. Welcome to
NFT musical.
So with that, we are doing something completely new. We're testing out the NFT Music Hall Discord server. And with that, everything that we've done so far with streaming into our Twitch account, then into Voxels, and we're going to be bringing in, let's see, let's have a look at what's happening in Voxels right now. We got a few people in there right now. Welcome, everyone. So again, we've got Kirk DeSoto in here, and let's just get started. So NFT Music Hall is all about bringing in talent, giving the opportunity to talk about where they've come from, where they're going musically, and of course in the NFT world. And so just getting to know you, it's been awesome seeing you in so many different Twitter spaces, and just hearing your music and the 402. I mean, there's so many cool things happening. And so why don't you give us a little background on what brought you into music?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on again. And yeah, I started. Well, I came. I guess you could say, from a musical family. So my mom, some of my sisters all sang. Some played instruments. I have a brother that plays guitar, another one that sings. So a lot of musicians in my family. So that's kind of, I guess, where it started. I had piano lessons when I was a kid and stuff, but when you're a kid, you don't care about the piano. You're like, when can I get this over with? But even when I was banging around on the piano, I never liked reading sheet music. I'd always like to just kind of tool around, do my own thing. So yeah, that was what was different. And then I kind of like didn't do much with music at a certain point, because I was always getting pushed into choirs and everything like that, and I always wanted to play an instrument. And it was weird because it seemed like no matter what I did, like, I could never be in the band, in the school band or whatever. I'd go try to get in there, and we're all full. You needed to sign up way before this. And I'm like, oh, great. So back to choir, and I'd always I'd always just kind of hate it, but I was just always singing. And then years later, a friend of mine got a guitar when we were in high school, and of course, your best friend gets one, you got to get one too. So just kind of started tooling around on the guitar a bit, and then I'm like, well, I can kind of sing a little bit, so sure, I can kind of start working on that. And I realized, man, I hadn't sang in so long, I like lost a lot of my voice. And so, my brother had taken some lessons from a maestro in Seattle named David Kyle. And this guy had worked with like all the biggest musicians in Seattle, Chris Cornell, and the list goes on. But so he had some lessons from him, and then subsequently kind of gave me lessons. And I spent about a year just trying to refine my voice and, get everything up to par. And then, of course, I started writing songs even before that. And once again, I never like learned other people's music for whatever reason. It was never interesting to me. So I pretty much always do my own thing, you know. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then, I grew up in the 90s in near Seattle during the grunge era, right? So a lot of influence from that part of the world, and that music scene kind of shaped, I think, some of the kind of style I had over the years. But yeah, it was a great time to grow up. It was a great place to grow up in. There were so many great bands. I used to go to Seattle like every weekend and watch, a bunch of bands, and it was just really cool. It was a really cool vibe to grow up in. So that, like I said, that's kind of where I got started with music.
Absolutely. And so with that, was that high school to start, and then how did you uh, carry it through? What happened next in bands and stuff?
Yeah, so I started like we started a high school band with my friends, and kind of played around there in local clubs and stuff, and kind of started making our way closer to Seattle. And then at some point, I ended up moving to New York City. I think I was 19, and spent a couple of years out there. Was still writing music and stuff. And then I came back to the West Coast. Was doing a few things, but I ended up moving back to New York again, and then kind of staying for a lot longer. So I lived in New York City for a good probably 15 years, and just did a bunch of music there. But pretty early on, I made a contact at Sony Music Studios in New York City, and made pretty good friends with one of the engineers there. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we bring some people in kind of on the side, just to record stuff. It's kind of for us to do our own kind of thing." And he's like, "Do you want to come in and record some stuff?" And I'm like, "Sure, of course." So he brought me in. I just brought me and my guitar. I did a kind of I don't know, 8 songs, something like that. Just kind of banged it out, 1 or 2 takes. And he liked it. He was like, "Oh, this is great," And then after the session, he's like, "Hey, I'd love to bring you back in for more." And I'm like, "Of course," And he was like, "Well, do you have a band?" I'm like, yeah, I got a band," which I didn't have a band. So, but I'm not going to tell him that. So,
Right.
It was kind of funny, but I had played with a bass player before, and he was in a band. And so I kind of like recruited them to, be part of this and do this. And we ended up going back in and recording like a full length album there. And, I pretty much produced it and did most of the stuff on it as far as that goes. And, yeah, it was cool. Like we were touring around a little bit, and but once again, it's like the same old classic story. It's like clashing of egos, or this person goes off and wants to do this other thing. And so the band didn't last super long, unfortunately. And by then I was like, you know what, I'm done with this whole band nonsense. Like, I'm just going to do my own thing, because it's just too difficult to get all these people together, get them all on the same page.
Yeah.
So I just went back to New York, and I just started doing acoustic stuff, and then kind of got together with another friend, and we started just touring around New York City, wherever we could. And, it's mostly like acoustic stuff, kind of like the stuff you'll hear tonight. But
Well, how did you
yeah,
like the music that you wrote in the band? Is that stuff that you want to, share and, keep it alive? How do you feel about?
um, I mean, yeah, I mean, I was proud of the music that I wrote, because it was all stuff I had written.
Yeah.
And it was more definitely rock genre, not like the stuff I did later. Um, Definitely, like more harder rock and stuff like that. But it was fun. I mean, it was really cool. Like, just a cool time, to be doing that kind of stuff. And
Right.
um, but like I said, I kind of decided. I guess it was a bit of a crossroads. Like, do I kind of keep going with the band route, or do I kind of do my own thing? And so I finally just said, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing." You know. And but the music scene over the years kind of got, I don't know, different. It's like at that point in time, like, people weren't really valuing live music as much, or especially like the kind of stuff I was doing. Like, most people wanted to go, especially in New York City. Most people wanted to either go see, the huge bands, or they wanted to see, like, you know, hip hop or whatever. It was like the genre was just very different back then.
Yeah.
Um, and so, I just, in between that and the way that a lot of these clubs were treating people back then, it was just like, it was too much. Because back then, and it just kind of got worse over time, but it eventually became like this pay for play, right? So you literally had to pay money just
Right.
to play at like average clubs, and nothing amazing. It's not like you're, headlining at the Apollo or something. Like, you're actually like, just, these kind of regular clubs. You're paying like $100 just to play there, and then hopefully you sell enough tickets to break even. It
Right.
was ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Merch and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I became very just disaffected with the whole thing. And, because it wasn't like that when I started out. It wasn't like that when I was younger. Like, clubs actually tried to value musicians more. You would actually get paid something. It might not be a lot, but it was something. And then it became just this, "Oh, you're paying us now," and it was just like, "Nah, I'm good."
So
So
And then you decided to take a break. And how long ago has it been now that you've picked up the guitar and start getting back into things?
Yeah, so I basically I left New York City in around 2012, moved to near Dallas, Texas area, and I didn't really go with the intent to just up and stop playing and all that. But it was just like, I don't know, I think I was just so disaffected with the whole music industry and the scene and everything to where I just like I had no motivation, you
Right.
know. So I just kind of found myself playing guitar less and less, singing less and less, and to a point where I just stopped completely. And I basically stopped for a decade. In fact, my last live performance was November of 2011, and I didn't take a stage again, a physical stage, until this last November. So 11 years later, in London, oddly enough,
Right.
at the NFT London that Josh Savage put on. So pretty wild. I mean, it was, such a huge gap, and but it was really Web3 that brought me back into music, because I didn't even have any intention of getting back into music, but just, going to these spaces and, making friends with all these different musicians and collectors and all this stuff. It was just like very inspiring, because people were doing what they wanted to do at
Right.
this point, right? In Web3, like they're not beholden to a label to say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. They're like, no, we're just going to do what we're going to do. We're going to do what we want, you know? And you can feel it. You know what I mean? If you're a true musician fan, like you can feel it, and you can hear it in the music that it's legit and real. So that just inspired me, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start picking up the guitar again. So I just started I found myself picking up the guitar more, singing more, and all of a sudden it was like, before I knew it, I'm like launching on a blockchain. I'm like, what on earth? Like, if you would have told me this 6 months ago, I would have said you're nuts. But
Right.
here I am. So
Absolutely. And just what I'd heard is that, through these spaces, you actually started playing in the spaces originally, and people had known you in this, just being present. They didn't know that you played guitar or anything. For how long was it that you were there?
it was a couple months, because I remember popping into Violetta's spaces somewhere around probably March. I
Right.
would say March or April, right around there. And I was just collecting. I was listening in. I didn't even go up and speak right away. Um, but when I did, like, everyone was very, kind and accepting and
Yeah.
supportive and everything like that. So I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And yeah, I think it wasn't until the summertime, maybe June, I want to say June or July, where I finally said something. I finally was like, yeah, I used to do music. And I think I said I used to, and they're
Right.
like, what? Everyone was surprised. And so then, they're like, well, do you have something you can play? I'm like, I guess. So I just played something, that I had recorded before, and they were kind of like shocked, because they were like, man, it's like, I had no idea. You know what I mean? Like
Who are
that you,
you? Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, and it's a different paradigm, right? Because you come in as a collector, you come in as a supporter, and then you don't say anything, so they just assume, hey, you're a collector, you're a supporter.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, I used to do music. Oh, okay, sure. So it was just funny. It was funny, really.
It's almost the coolest way to, slide right into the whole scene. I mean, it's
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So,
welcome to my train.
oh yeah, you get your train there.
So, you mentioned minting. What's that been like for you? What have you done and what's happening?
Yeah, so I started with, well, I applied for Nifty Music when
Right.
he did his first academy class, and I yeah, so we did our first launch through OpenSea, and mainly it's just to kind of, because they have a very solid kind of tracking platform to where they're looking at the numbers and posting the numbers. So you can kind of see like how you're doing, compared to other people. Not that it's a competition, but it's nice to see that data and see like, you know, who's trending or whatever, I mean, just so you kind of have an idea of like what people are doing in the space.
Right.
So we did that. We launched that. I launched mine in 3 different drops over the course of about 2.5 weeks. So yeah, I sold those out in about 2.5 weeks, and then I launched kind of a second little drop. Mostly it was just a free drop for holders, but then I was like, well, kind of be nice to have something I could have just to kind of, if people are interested, hey, if you got anything, right? Because a lot of times if you have smaller collections, people tend to hold on to them. They don't tend to flip them really. And there's typically more utility tied to the original collection, right? So a lot of times people want to hold those. So I'm like, well, it'd be nice to have something to sell. So I decided, I'll just go ahead and I'll make a few more copies of these just so I have something, you know what I mean? And that's where the Shirley Lowe song came out, because that was like the first song I had written, in years. And, I kind of just was inspired just being in the space to write a song. And I thought, that'd be kind of cool, my Web3 anthem, so to speak. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. And then, and I'm working on some other stuff currently. Hopefully should be done with it by, I don't know, sometime in March. I'm thinking as far as release, I don't have like a specific date or, platform. I'm still working on that. But yeah, I should have some newer stuff out probably sometime in March, April, the latest. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on so far.
Right on. I'm just peeking at what's happening in voxels and in our NFT Music Hall Discord. We're just picking up a few more people here, but let me see. I think we're about ready to do live session.
All
So,
right.
how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Really great to have Kirk here. Tell us where you've been, where you're going, and set us up on what we're going to hear.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably do, I guess, 7 songs. I kind of timed it out. It should fit within the time frame there. Some of these are songs that I did quite a bit in New York. Some are even older. Some I wrote after the fact. So yeah, a bit of a mix there, but pretty much all just, my acoustic stuff. And it's a little different than on Spaces because I usually play with an amp with some effects and stuff. So it's acoustic, but it's kind of plugged into. So, you'll hear a little bit different than you would on Spaces. But yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Loved the sound check the other night. I can't wait to hear it. So, last night, in fact. So at this point, why don't we go ahead and mute on this, and I'm going to switch over to your Twitch stream. So,
Sounds good.
All right.
Here we go. This song is about in love with somebody who's in love with somebody else. So, not a good idea. The song is called I Wish I Never Met You. There's no flowers on this grave. To free agency we are all slaves, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Fate is cruel and I'm left blue. Wish I never met you.
surface, but I suppose I can't replace yesterday's bright ray. So it's my heart you crashed into. There is nothing that I can do. Fate is cruel, I'm left blue. Wish I'd never met you. So it's my heart you crashed into. There is nothing that I can do. Fate is cruel, I'm left blue. Wish I'd never met you. Thank you. All right. Next song will be coming out sometime this year. We shall see. It's called It's All Right Now. Think I'm slipping away. Those fingers calling me down. I feel like there's nothing left to say. Still lost and waiting for change. But it's alright now. Trees on the horizons are calling. say, no longer wait here for change. Thank you. All right. Some of you may know this next song. So if you do, sing along. This is about falling in love with a bot on Twitter. Probably a bot. Here we go. Hanging out in this place, growing bored of the human race, and suddenly I see her face staring up at me. That same old PFP, oh can't you see? You're the one for me. And all I have is time. All I have is time. Oh, surely Lord, introduce myself and say hello. Maybe next time you can just know, not surely Lord. Oh, surely Lord, left my heart in the bitter cold. Love for you is growing old, not surely Lord. And all I have is time. All I have is time. Girl, you're looking fine in 5 places at the same time, and it's true. You look at me, babe. Friends say you're a bot, but I swear that you're not. So if you're there, you come up to me. And all I have is time. All I have is time. Oh, surely Lord, introduce myself, say hello. Maybe next time you can just be alone. Not surely Lord. Oh, surely Lord, left my heart out in the bitter cold. Love for you is growing old. Not surely Lord. And all I have is time. All I have is time. All I have is time. Someday you'll be mine. All right. Shirley Lowe. All right. This next song, also you may notice or remember, I should say, from Twitter because I played a good amount. This was the first song I played live in well, 11 years really. So pretty wild. It's a love song. It's a no, actually no, it's not a love song. It's the opposite of a love song. It's breaking up with somebody over the phone. It's called I Just Called to Break Your Heart. Here we go. There'll be time for you to cry, just as soon as it takes, and you'll be wondering why. Is it a lie when the deep rushing begins? 'Cause love is simply give and take. It's greater than mistakes we make, but some things we cannot forsake. And we both played the part, but we were doomed from the start. So I just called to break we both played the part that we were doomed from the start. So I just called to break your heart. And I know you feel alone as you're hanging up the phone. You reflect on my tone, but you should have known that we reap the seeds we've sown. 'Cause love is not an endless debt or rationed out inside regret, but some things we cannot forget. And we both played the part that we were doomed from the start. So I just called to break your heart. And we both played the part that we were doomed from the start. So I just called to break your heart. 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 Thank you. That was always fun when you don't want to confront people. All right, this next one, I played on Spaces a few times, and actually I played it in my first 402 live stream, so you can hear it there as well.
Beautiful, man.
The song is called Find My Way Home.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you. Here we go. What good is a memory if you cannot make it last? Live together in the present time, not buried in the past. When did life become so bad? When did life become so sad? Wasting time in a dead-end job 'cause I'm so afraid to fail. Don't have to care for my easy chair with the sadness that prevails. When did life become so bad? When did life become so sad? When did life become so bad? When did life become so sad? find my way home. Find my way home. Thank you. All right, this next one is pretty special to me because it's it's about a song about my wife, actually. It's definitely a love song, and it's well, you'll hear it. It's called "The Meaning of Joy." So here we go. Hope you like it. There is life here amongst the stars, dear. Won't you come and stay by my side? I will hold you and protect you. I will love you for all time. As daylight starts to break, two against closed eyes, forgive my mistake. You're the reason why I'm alive. Cast away fear, hold to trust it. Take my hand and with your body, I'll accept you, never reject you. I will love you for all time. Still I start to break. Solitude against closed eyes. Forgive my mistake. You're the reason why I'm alive. Hold me close, never let me go. well, this is my last song. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Check me out on OpenSea. Check me out on Twitter.
All right, Kirk, let's bring it back.
Coming. And thanks to NFT Music Hall for having me.
All right, Kirk, let's bring it back.
Here we go. Here's our my last song. It's called "I Wouldn't Be Me." Here we go. Love, it seems to take so long. Always waiting. And I could write the perfect song. Nobody's listening. And I could scream from above. No one would hear me. I'm run out of love, wishing empty. Oh no. Oh no. Misery, it is what's coming. It hides behind a pretty smile. You could spend your whole life running. Self-control not begun. I have ascended, and precious dreams are torn apart, and will never be mended. I could scream from below, no one would hear me. Father knew what I now know. Would it be? Oh no. Would it be? That's it for me. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kirk. So at this point, just wanted to just thank everybody for tuning in. That was such a sweet set. And with this moment, we've got Raphael Wintersberger, Mr. World Peace himself. Bring him up right now.
Word.
Word.
Yeah, I'm muted. On the
Right.
rock, so cool. It's not going away.
Raphael, great to have you back in the NFT Music Hall. What's been going on? It's been what, 2, 3 months now?
Yeah, it's been a while. Seems like forever. And also just like yesterday.
Absolutely. You know, you're
So
our first
here.
guest to join a second time.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I really catch like the I used to be a sound guy, and I just catch the show vibe. Like the energy is there, you know. I was a sound guy, like doing live shows for most of my life, like 20 years, 25 years. And I totally have like a flashback from doing that when I'm preparing for this event and when like I'm seeing the, music, and it's just really cool.
Man, Kirk just laid down some beautiful tracks. So great to have him here. And,
Yeah, man.
we're blessed to have musicians like yourself, Kirk, and Pinkstar coming up. I mean, everybody that's come through, it's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Totally, man. It's like it just makes me feel happy to hear live music and it's amazing. And look, here's the video mixer. My wife.
So what's been
Um,
happening for you, man? You've been spending a lot of time tuning up this your music. I mean, really, just listening to some of the stuff that you're working on the other day. It's cool to just hop into your Twitch stream when you go live. It's you were doing it what daily there for a while. What are you doing with it?
yeah, I like to get it out of my system sometimes to get like repetition is key for me because I mean it's like order and chaos. I guess, I just it's all muscle memory to what I do. So um but it's such a obscure thing that I'm doing. Not like just a keyboard or just a guitar, just like a whole just everything. So I got to really just do it every day to even get a sense of what I'm doing. I'm kind of a slow learner, I guess.
Well, you're also having a shit ton of fun too. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I can't deny that
well,
for
being a
sure.
gearhead, not much different than you. I mean, I haven't spent any time with a modular synth before. I've just screwed around a little bit. I've got Reason and whatnot. So, just dialing in different sounds. But the whole concept of having a physical synthesizer where you can plug live, you can turn dials, you can it's more than just a DJ's mixing console. It is how many different well, so do you only have one modular synth or multiple? What are all the pieces and parts of your rig?
I've been collecting gear for a really long time, and the few things that are like left here at the end of the road, after the bare essentials. which it's funny at Bear Central, it's like a room crammed full of shit.
Yeah.
The walls, all the walls, everything is covered with equipment. But uh, it's just so it's a lot of stuff. It can be a lot of stuff, but it's also oftentimes just like the straight up DJ setup that people have with live, Ableton Live, where it's like drums and the bass. And in fact, tonight I'm experimenting a lot with I just did a project in 440 with a friend of mine. Nobody maybe you don't know, maybe I should say so. I like to walk around with, excuse my language, I like to play around with this tuning 444, so different, a little different than 440. And
Yeah.
that I'm used to that. And it goes against logic because all the equipment is set up to run in 440. So you have access to all these instruments and everything is just set up and ready to go. But I, of course, because I have to make everything difficult, want to do it in 444. So I'm used to not having access to a lot of the instruments that I'm going to be having access tonight. Because a lot of the samples that I'm using are from a project in 440. So basically it's kind of fun to, play a little more, it's a little more organized than I normally do. I don't know. You'll see.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've heard both, and so I'm totally stoked to hear you touch a little mainstream because you spent a lot of time in mainstream, and so for the people that I kind of glanced over the fact that you've been here before, maybe people don't know much about you, so I should come back around and say, so really, what got you into music, and what got you to the place you are today with everything?
Well, I mean, I was playing violin when I was like a small person, very young, like 6, 7, and basic, but Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, nothing like I was never that great at violin, but I was playing music when I was like 6 years old. So
Yeah.
that it's always been an element of my life, and it's always been something like guitar when I was about 10, 11, 12, playing guitar and beyond, and still I play guitar, not like it's like the violin, like I can play guitar. It's not my main thing. I don't really have a main thing, but I can kind of play all the instruments a little bit, you
Because
know.
you played
Um,
a number of bands along the way. What was your instrument of, you know, rapport?
I've played accordion in bands. I've played um guitar, bass, in different bands, different times.
Yeah.
Um, and but most of my hands-on experience is as a live sound guy because I've been doing, you got to make some money somehow when you're a young dad. I had a kid when I was about 17 years old, so I had to like get a job right away, and sound was like an easy way to make some money because nobody else knew how to do sound, and I had figured it out because I wanted to record my own music. I was like, I want to make my own music.
Yeah.
This was, in the 90s. And so yeah, that's basically most of my experience is doing sound. So I approach music in a really sound mixer kind of way. I've spent more time watching bands mixing them than I've spent playing instruments on stage. You know what I mean?
Uh,
So I really approach it from the sound guy perspective. But I've spent like endless nights listening to, house music and, dance music and just like pound it into my head. So I have a lot of R&R, I've been waiting to kind of, since COVID, I quit my job, and now I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna make music. So I think thanks to COVID for
yeah.
inspiring me to
Yeah, no doubt.
do what I want to do,
Uh, yeah, definitely can hear that. Yeah, the proclivities of a mixer. So Yeah, I definitely am with you on listening for the mix, and so um, at this point, we'd love to just well, first before you dive into it, tell us what's happening for you in the NFT space. What's
Oh
happening?
yeah,
Yeah, what's going on?
cool. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that for a second. I made a Abel Okagawa, awesome Web3 guy, total best friend from way back in the day when I started making music. He was here last time. That was great. That was really, really fun. Brought me in, and I've done a whole bunch of different stuff, but right now I'm sort of like sitting on an AVAX project that I did. I made like 6 pieces, and the reason I'm sitting on them is because they're not showing. One of them won't show up in OpenSea, and it's AVAX. It's like OpenSea would be a secondary. It's just like a viewer basically, but I want them to work. I want the NFT. So I've just kind of like been trying to figure that out, and
Yeah,
so before I go, be like, say, go to an auction and try and sell the stuff or whatever, or share it with anybody. I just want to see it work. So, and it's a kind of continuation from my Ethereum drop, which is it's kind of play on the concept of Genesis, and it touches the subject of most of my art because I really want to understand like that moment of creation. Like that's what I'm always trying to like really visualize. It's like the moment of creation that we live in now, always happening in the now, like that Genesis story, like that imagination, the God voice coming in vibrations, stirring everything up into life. Um, I think, as a sound tech, observing sound and observing how sound affects people and just, paying attention to science and stuff, I feel like it's really the principle of my focus of art is like trying to understand this whole mind energy thing, you know. And so yeah, this AVAX piece is a continuation of that, um, sort of a diversion. But yeah, I have plans for my next part of the series on the East project as well. So it's kind of like I'm just branching out, making more work for myself, which I'm happy to do.
absolutely. Well, and
Yeah.
it is an interesting time right now because there are so many people open to the whole concept of the mind body, auditory experience that really has just so much connection to emotion, relationships, the thing that you've had the potential of doing. I mean, I'm really interested to hearing more because resonance, it goes deep, man. And so, uh, good setup. Are we going to get some of that right now?
I hope so. We'll see. I'll do my best.
Well, the bottom line is you're in the friendliest place in Web3. And so just get where you need to be, and we're all ears. And so I'm just going to hop over, just make sure I've got your uh, Twitch stream all set because I actually have, from way back, and it's still operative here. So bottom
Cool.
line, at this point, I'd say thank you for giving us some alpha on what you're doing right now, and thanks for joining this really great night of NFT Music Hall. And we'll switch over to your Twitch now.
There you go.
And that was brilliant.
Thanks so much for letting me do that.
Absolutely.
That's great fun.
What's your idea around where you want to take it from here?
Well, thanks for asking. I love that question. I can tell you that, like in about 2012 or something, 2011, I came up with the name Martin Lucifer, and I came up with it for this machine that I was making, basically, which is a stack of equipment that was all electronic, no computers, just loopers, stuff like that, and the idea was to have it be like no songs, nothing in advance. No, it's like you go to the space wherever you're gonna go. This thing had wheels. You just take it to the room, and I wouldn't even put it on the stage. I put it where a sound guy would go, basically, or out in the middle of where the crowd would go. I'd want to be where the crowd was at, and play there, and just really have no. So that's kind of this is the same concept where I'm just whatever it is that I'm doing, if I have a live set that's coming up, I'll just take from that, throw it together in a live set, something I have never worked with before, just do it right away, and then have a certain, maybe a day or two of being able to put this stuff together and practice with Kat with the video and stuff. We used to do this every day. But again, it's just the whole idea of not having a plan and just being like, where are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Let's try this, and just as short as you can compact that as possible, the better, in my opinion. And the best thing would be just to walk out into the field and be like singing how you feel and just have it sound great and just be, but uh and that happens sometimes too, but that's pretty rare. So, but that's the idea, is just to not have it be a song that's like you wrote before or anything like that. It's just totally in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so do you actually tweak on the groove a little bit as well? So you've got your Ableton running with the loop and stuff like that. So do you insert or make some mods in that as you go along, or what what happens
Yeah.
there?
Basically, I resisted Ableton for a really long time. Um, just wouldn't touch it because you know, nothing against it. It's like, I just had a sort of a feeling I wanted stuff I could hit with my hands and play and not be too in the box. But after all these years of playing with these, it's really about signal path. With that, it's classic analog digital argument is like analog or did you want both, because after a while analog signal paths, unless you have a really huge awesome mixing board, which I might be getting one soon, so fingers crossed, but you really have to daisy chain a bunch of stuff to get all the different sounds you want to get in there, and you just need like a big Midas console or something if you're going to go analog, like a really nice big console, if I was going to go, but I don't have one of those. So and Ableton, it's you just can't, it's so flexible, even though I just, so anyways, to make a long story short, I use both of them now in together. So I have an input from my old rig going into my new rig, and there's a MIDI connection between them, so I can sync them or I can choose to not sync them or whatever. And yeah, just it keeps expanding. And then I also have a little tiny rig that I have made, a new little rig on wheels. It's in a baby carriage, one of those jogging ones, and I call it Rosemary's Baby Carriage. And it has like a chaos pad on it, and like an iPad, and a spot for a computer, and a battery pack, and I can literally go on a parade with this thing if I want, because it's battery powered. It runs on solar panels.
Right, right.
So I have this guilt-free, like version of this thing that I can walk around in a baby carriage with. And I've taken it to a few live shows. I have one actually scheduled coming up in May, I think.
Man, you and Luxus have the same idea. I mean, it's such an awesome thing going mobile. I mean, really, I saw actually
Yeah.
one of your stage shows that's out there on YouTube, and I mean, just being able to groove.
That was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Well, we're gonna hop over to Pinkstar now, and I just want to say thank you so much for bringing it again to the music hall, and we will see you again
Thanks
soon.
for having me, man. Thanks so much. I love this. And I'm gonna try and hop on I'm gonna try and log in Voxels right now so I can check
Yeah.
out the show.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you. Peace.
And welcome, Pinkstar.
How are you? This was
I'm
amazing. This was so trippy. I was like, keep it going. It was so cool. Work was amazing too. I love the music. His voice is so many. You know what's great? Like doing this is like you get a chance to listen to the artist. We hang out in spaces, but we don't really always, you know what I mean? Like listen to each other's music because we're always freaking busy. So that was awesome.
great to see you here. Welcome to NFT Music Hall. First time, and wonderful to finally make it happen. It was what 6 months ago, maybe we were hoping to have you in, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Time flies. Where are you located right now?
All the way on top in Michigan, actually by the Great Lakes, and it's freaking gorgeous here. It's we still have some snow, we still have some ice, but not enough to like, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be more because it's melting.
Right.
Like,
Well, we're all going to get some winter here in the next few days, I understand. So,
where you at again?
I'm in California, just south of San Francisco.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you guys get snow up there. That's right.
We're going to get 45 degrees. It's going to be really, really cold here.
You know, there's a difference, like 45 degrees in California and 45 degrees somewhere else is different. In LA, I would freeze my butt off. Like it was like 40, 50 degrees. I'm like, it's freaking cold.
It's true. I mean, well, even San Francisco is known for its summers that are colder than most winters because of the fog. But
yeah.
Anyway, since you are a first timer here, what I'd like to do is just go into your musical past. What brought you into music? What brought you to you as a performer today? And of course, ultimately talking about what's happening for you in NFTs. But, in your childhood, what was your connection to music? How did you really get into music?
I always loved music. Music is just medicine. My dad was a saxophone player, so he had actually a band, and I would sneak in and check them out when they would rehearse, and I would like kind of, when they take a break, I'd be like behind the mic, kind of like pretending I'm on stage and I'm playing a show. And then I eventually started singing in a choir and joining a top 40 band. Yeah, that's how it kind of started. But I always loved music. I always, it's funny, I'm a vocal coach, and when I listen to my little kids sing, you think, oh, how could a little kid be so connected, but music does that to you. It's crazy how they can connect to a song where they don't know what it is about, but they can feel it. You know what I mean? So I've always felt that. I was always the little performer, I think most of us artists are, it's just like performing for our family and like, annoy them, be like, yay, look at me. They're like, that's good. Yes. Get a stage. So I did.
Exactly. And so how old were you when you really, figured out your performance and, just actually being in front of a crowd? Do you remember your first
in a choir in school? Yeah. That's when I knew, I had a solo, I had my first solo, and I was like, oh, I like that, and from there just kind of, so it's always been in my blood, I think, and it's always been in my family. So and I've always been attracted to people that do music, so I've always kind of, from an early childhood, but I have not started writing my own music until I was a little bit older, because I really wanted a band and I couldn't find a band. Everybody wanted a singer that sounded like somebody. I was like, no, I don't want to be a sound alike. I want to have my own sound, So I ended up starting my own band eventually, after joining a bunch of bands and being in a bunch of bands. so I started my own band, Otto's Daughter, in New York. And that was really cool because I learned how to produce myself and how to record, which, you know, in the beginning I was going to producers, and that was just got expensive. And
Yeah.
we met someone, and that guy was like, we met someone at the laundromat. And he was like, what do you guys do? We're like, oh, my boyfriend at the time. And we're like, well, we trying to, you know, start recording, and I don't know, we just started talking. He's like, well, I do computers, so I can help you guys. And then he helped us actually build our system, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
really cool. Yeah. And then we started learning, and we just kind of went, you know, just experimented, and that's how our sound came about. And I thought I'm gonna do like pop music, and then I ended up doing really dark electronic, like industrial gothy kind of stuff, you know, with baby dolls and blood and glitter, and it was pretty crazy and very theatrical. And honestly, I didn't know I had that in me. I didn't even know where that came from. So I was like, all right. And my mom did not like that. She was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Was
Can't
that
you
like
just
a
be
Nine
normal?
Inch Nails type of thing? Where were you,
Yeah.
you know, vibing from on that?
Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson. That was kind of our like crowd, you know? And
Yep.
then we started circulating pretty much the goth industrial fetish scene, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I loved it. I really loved it. And it's like something that I didn't know I liked, or I was, you know, it's just one of those things, but it was really cool. And then we were in New York, and then at some point, we kind of hit a plateau, like most bands. You know, we were doing somewhat good, but people kept saying, you got to go to LA, you got to go to LA. And I was like, oh God, I don't like LA. And I didn't even know LA. I just heard things about LA.
Were
And then
you-
I was like, you know what? Let's check it out. And then I actually did like it. So we ended up moving the band, half the band moved to LA. And we continued there, and we just had a whole new lineup. At some point, we started out actually playing some acoustic sets first,
Yep.
and before we, you know, found the new lineup. And then, yeah, that was it. And we did that for several years, and it was a great experience. Worked with some great producers, you know, met a lot of our idols, obviously. But there came a point where, again, you know, we toured. It was also awesome. And then at some point we were like, where are we going with this, you know? Trying to
What
get
was
signed. We actually were signed to an indie label. And long story short, I ended up saying, okay, we've run our course. It's time to, you know, break it up and move our own ways. And then
what was the band at that time? What
Mhm.
band? What was the name of the band? Or
It was still Otto's Daughter.
okay.
Yeah, it was Otto's Daughter. And then yeah, it was heartbreaking because I really loved my band and I loved performing, but they were like, you know, not everybody wants to do the same thing. Not everybody's made for the road. You know, that's one thing
Yeah.
that's really hard to find dedicated people that you don't make much money on the road, you know? And so I started writing for film and TV, which I loved, you know. I was like, all right, maybe my path is just not the way I thought it's gonna be, but I'm still making music. And after doing that, I really didn't do any of my own stuff for a long time because I was kind of like, you know, just I don't know, felt a little lost.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know, I'm ready to do my own solo project and write music again for me. Because when I was writing for film and TV, I kind of didn't know who I was anymore as an artist, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So how did that coincide? Well, you know, this whole thing with COVID, NFTs. Where were you when you actually got involved with crypto again and NFTs? How did that?
Well, crypto, I got in like in 2017. I kind of started bunch of friends of mine, and we started talking about it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get myself some Bitcoin, and thought it's gonna go to 100K, you know, which it didn't. And so, and then I think Binks actually introduced me to NFTs. I really didn't know what it was, and I really didn't like it, and I didn't like Twitter. I was totally like against all of, not
Right.
against it. I was just like ignorant, and I don't know, just stubborn. I was like, I don't know what this is, and this is, you know, I don't understand it.
Like
Um,
LA, but different.
you know, yeah. And I was like, I understand crypto, and I've been more of a hodler all the time. Like I've done like I trade sometimes, but mostly holding it, which is also not good. I need to start taking profits. But yeah, Binks introduced me and she's like, you gotta come. And I was like, nah, I don't know. And at some point I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. So, and then I really love the community, you know, I love, then she could drag me into Twitter spaces. And I was like, I hate Twitter. Because you know what? Twitter is funny because depending on what you're interested in, you get exposed to that. So at the time, all I saw was all this negativity and politics, and I was like, oh, screw all that. You know, I didn't want to be on Twitter to argue, and so yeah. But then I really started liking it, and she introduced me to a lot of people, and I met like a lot of awesome people that are doing great things. And now I go on to just like the NFT community. To me, the music NFT community, especially, I feel everybody's super supportive, you know, and it's really inspiring to see what people are building and creating. It's just, but I'm still a slow mover. I take my time. I feel like everybody's different. Some people release a lot of stuff, and I will this year. I'm gonna, but I just took my time and learned a lot and stepped back and was like, all right, let me just, see what's going on, what's happening.
Nice. That's true. I mean, well, bottom line is that it's such a huge exposure and so many different types of communities around music in NFTs. I mean, all of the electronic, rap and hip hop, I mean, and singer songwriter, all the different labels, NFT minting platforms and whatnot. And then, of course, the most fun I've had was getting into spaces with other projects. Some of the most fun I've had were rooms with Hermie and Craig, legit Craig. I mean, and of course Vessi, and I mean the whole space has so many different personalities and interests. There's a lot of momentum in NFTs that, or at least projects where they're looking for the sellout. They're really looking for the business of the NFT projects. And then there's the communities that are really working to be more inclusive, and so you definitely need both. It's really important to be in the zone of taking care of yourself financially at the same time of being generous with your music and helping lift each other up. I mean, it's such a rare thing right now for us to have this. So that's what makes this so special for me.
I think we're in a weird space right now because in the beginning, I remember when I first entered, people were just like selling stuff really expensive, and like doing, and then and they started all selling out and whatnot, which is cool. I'm happy for them. But then now it's become more like, okay, I think we're trying to figure it all out, like what works, what doesn't work, how to build your community. So I've seen more people just like doing the free mints and stuff, which I've done also, for Christmas. And I think it's great that we just all, it's all so new that what's gonna work, and how do we attract more collectors that are really, but I think this is the future, it's once people understand. I think we need to get away from the name NFT maybe.
Yeah, we've heard
understand it more, like
the digital asset conversation
or collectors items. I keep saying like your digital like vinyl,
right,
where it feels a bit more, people get more excited about that, like the outsiders that don't understand it, that think crypto is like a scam too,
right. And I guess talking about collectors, the way you've approached your releases of NFTs, tell us what your first NFT was, and how you've kind of set yourself up right now. What's next? So, what was your first NFT? Your genesis?
My genesis was Feel the Loving, it's called, and it was actually on Mint Songs. And when Mint songs crumbled, I was like, all right, that's, they're gone. So what am I going to do now? And I had another song. So what I'm actually working on, or what I've done, is I created 30 different pieces of artwork, and I want to write my own contract in Manifold, and release them separate, like on my own, and re-release them, but make it more special, because it was still my, my genesis. And it was really funny because one of the people I know, it was cool. He released his called Mint Wrongs, which I thought was so funny. So yeah, I'm gonna re-release that because I know people wanted it and they couldn't get it,
Right.
But I'm not. I feel, again, in a way, this is also exciting because somebody started it and then it didn't work out at the end, But they did. I think they had good intentions. And they actually partnered. I don't know if you know, Mint Songs got bought by
Napster.
Napster. Yeah. So
Napster.
that's
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, But I'm not really excited. I mean, I could care less, honestly, whatever.
Can it
But
pump new life into something that crashed, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I released my second official music NFT on OpenSea, Dancing with Myself, and yeah, that's where we are. But right now I'm doing a song a week, and I do it on the 402 HQ. I think we talked about that, right? The streaming platform.
Yeah.
And so I'll be releasing at least like one a month, and then it leads up to an actual album. So
the 402.
Yeah.
How many have you done now on the 402? How many live performances?
Friday was my third stream. So it's really interesting because it's in real time, writing a song in real time, like while I'm streaming. So it's very interesting. I did a collab with somebody who wasn't able to join in, but I had his song. So it's a little bit, being vulnerable, and but I like it because I want to have other artists get inspired by creating momentum. Because I feel in this space, it's so easy to just get caught up in the technology, and forget about actually creating, making time for creativity, which I haven't. And it makes me really cranky and I don't create, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so.
Is that what's happening to me? Okay.
We creators, we need that. And when we don't have that outlet, we get so caught up. And I've been doing that too. I've been like learning Manifold and all that kind of stuff. And it's frustrating because I'm not a developer, but I feel it is good for all of us to know the basics, at least. We don't want to be developers necessarily, but to know some stuff so we are not completely, green. So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Nice.
And doing the song a week, I think, is good because then I hold myself accountable. And it's really helping others if they want to. But for me personally, it's like, all right, I made a commitment to myself and I'm going to show up every week on Fridays, and whoever wants to join me can join me.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes. And I also want to grow the Star Tribe community. I want to inspire people to be creative and to express themselves, and hope to build a community that collaborates, supports each other, and bring this eventually to the real life, doing songwriting camps and concerts and stuff like that. So
what's the name of the project or the organization community that you mentioned?
Oh, Star Tribe.
Star Tribe.
The Star Tribe. That's my community.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Because we're all stars. We're all shining bright stars, and you should always allow yourself to shine bright, because the brighter you shine, the more you give others the light.
Oh, definitely.
So that's my.
So is that a Discord server that you have for it?
I do have a Discord, and it's still in the very early stages.
Okay. Right.
Because I know people are also, that's the other thing. I feel we're all so spread out everywhere. Everybody has their own little community, which is cool.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, man, we all have the same kind of goals, so how can we really unite and come together and create like a bigger community, a bigger vision, like one big, because even all the little groups, I'm in so many groups, and I'm like, oh my God, I see GM like to 10 groups, and most of the people in those groups are in other groups too. So it's like,
right.
Finding a hub for all of us would be amazing, but we'll see.
No doubt.
And
well,
everything
cool.
in this space is like an experiment anyway, I feel. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in 10 different groups, and there's overlap at least 4 of them. So, but
You know,
and that's what's really interesting. We really know how far our reach really is, and so it's really miraculous right now. How even for myself, who I did not have a Web 2 musical experience, it was all here in Web 3, and for myself, it just to be working with musicians that have had full careers in Web 2, so to speak, has just been such a huge eye-opening, huge opportunity. And there's so many more like me that are coming in to work
right now.
with people like yourself, and we can name a whole lot of our our friends in the space that have come from long music careers, and now it's to be in the same room. So
It's awesome, And
yeah,
and big shout out to Binks too, because she's
yeah,
been big supporter of music and a big fan of like a lot of bands, and I know she's dealing with a lot of we're all like a little cuckoo. So shout out to Binks
herding
for
cats. Absolutely.
for being really, because I know she built Third Planet for the artist. That was very not a
Yeah.
selfish thing, because that's not who she is, and so I want to give her a big shout out, because people like her are also really needed in the space where she's not a musician, but she's so a believer of like what's possible, and with the big vision and work
No
ethic.
question.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's really it's freaking awesome. It's really,
Yeah.
I love it.
NFT Music Hall really wouldn't be here without her today. And so to have her not only in so many different communities with musicians, relationships with the musicians, it's just definitely, I don't like to use this word a whole lot, but it's a blessing. I mean, it's really one of these
But
things
it
where,
is,
yeah, I
and
mean,
a cappella too. We got to give him credit too, because he's a builder
well,
and he's like a
the whole,
hustler. The whole crew, the whole Third Planet crew. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Curry with his artwork. I mean,
I know. It's
it is the
awesome.
perfect crew. And of course, while we're giving kudos out, working with Token Smart and our other partner out in Jazzland, Mr. Tim Ellis, Jack's Hideaway. I mean, without these key, innovators in the space, I think all of the metaverse projects that we've been working on, all of the shows that have been done so far. I mean, we're watching so many different platforms, different projects do live events, and for me, I've been just seeing so many shows happen where it's pre-recorded, or if it's live, there's not a whole lot of conversation about who the artists are. And so I hope that I'm giving the opportunity to give more background, more conversation about where people come from, what's really happening for them in this space. And so this is, I hope, helping others, and of course yourself.
No, absolutely. I feel every time I go in a space and I hear someone's story, and it's weird too, because I also like being mysterious, and I feel like there's this fine line which I'm also trying to figure out. I'm like, do I want to be like more mysterious, or like do I want to be more open? But I do love because we all love stories and we all love hearing where people come from, and that's
Yeah.
what kind of like really connects us. It's like, oh my God, you've gone through this, or you've been there and you've lived there, or whatever. So it's like, it's finding that middle ground. But I love what you're doing, because I think, yes, you're right. It's like just hearing someone perform, but you don't really know who they are, and you might just not be interested. But now you heard them and you're like, oh, like Raphael, that was awesome. I'd never, I hear him in the space, but I've never really like heard him like actually doing his thing.
Yep.
And the thing is too, it's not like it's hidden, we can all click someone's link. But again, how much time do we have a day, So this is great.
Yep.
This is bringing people together.
Well, speaking of which, well, at first I had to say the mysterious part I'm totally digging because I'm having, stage envy right now with all your flashing lights and stuff. I think I need a little bit. I actually had this black light set up almost ready to go, but I was jumping into taking care of tech. So next time I'm going to be a little flashier myself. So.
I like your background though. I like it. I feel like you're in a bar, you know what I mean? Like, I love that. It's cool.
Well, don't you know?
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna, get the
Yeah.
tap open here in a second, but I would love to hear what's going on for you and kind of set us up what your set's gonna be like. What do you got for us?
So I'm gonna play a few songs that I actually wrote. That was my first EP after I decided, I'm over the heartbreak with breaking up my own band. And I started writing again. And then I have a few songs that I collaborated on, and they actually were meant for sync. So, which I love, man. Sometimes you
Yeah.
write songs that you would never come up with that, but that was a brief, and you're like, oh shit, this is like cool, So I'm gonna play a few of those and some, nothing really brand new. I mean, for you, it's gonna be brand new,
Yeah.
but I'm working on all the brand new stuff, and that's gonna be always played on Fridays, Pink Fridays. And then it's gonna be released, when it's actually produced. But for now, so yeah, a little bit of like what I've been up to in the past, since I broke up my band until now, basically. Like the newest song you're gonna hear is like Dancing with Myself. That was the last release.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so incredibly cool. If you want to spark up your Twitch stream, because that's where it belongs in the high quality streaming world.
That's right.
Now, before you get started, how often have you Twitch streamed in the past? Because this is not your first time.
Actually with Binks, I did that once.
Oh,
I have not been on, I have not been on Twitch. That's why I was like, when I asked you, I was like, what we go on? I'm going to OBS, right? Yeah,
But
I normally I do
you-
like when I do my the show in the Centraland, I usually just do my OBS and into
Right.
Centraland. But I do want to do on Twitch because there's a lot happening. I follow a bunch of people and I'm like, man, I need to get on this. But
Well, what's great is Twitch can be pushed in all directions, and so this
it's
is.
so great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
And so your Twitch into my Twitch into Voxels. Here we go.
Let's Twitch a little.
Yeah.
So this first song is Soothe. That was a really dark time in LA. At some point, LA is a beautiful town and it's awesome, but it's also a very lonely town. Nobody talks about that, but it's pretty dark. It can get pretty dark. So that's it.
Thoughts keeping me awake. Time is racing, my mind is restless. Feels like the world is turning against me. I dance with the devil in the city of angels, in the city of angels. Soothe my heart. Choose love. I'm gonna stare at the moon, counting the stars, howl for you till the sun comes up. Soothe my heart. Don't wanna feel sorry for myself, but sometimes I wish I could be someone else. Soothe my heart. Choose love. I'm gonna stare at the moon, counting the stars, howl for you till the sun comes up. Soothe my heart. Soothe my heart. Choose love. standing in a crowd, keeping to myself. Wish I was someone to hold my hand. So many lonely people in this world. Suze, 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 soothe my heart. Choose love. We stare at the moon, counting the stars. Howl for you till the sun comes up. Soothe my heart. Soothe my heart. Choose love. Gonna stare at the moon, counting the stars. Howl for you till the sun comes up. Soothe my heart. Yes, sometimes, just gotta inhale, exhale, relax, and just remember that all is good. And another thing, to not wait, delay, doubt, question yourself, wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come, I'm praying for a sign in the desert of pain. Hazards in my eyes, am I even awake? Summer has come, summer is gone. All the plans we made fell through. Winter has come, winter is gone. Another year of wasted youth. It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Oh no, it's always tomorrow until it's too late. I'm feeling paralyzed, too much on my plate. Watch the days go by, panic in my veins. What you waiting for? It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Oh no, it's always tomorrow until it's too late. It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Oh no, it's always tomorrow until it's too late. With the blink of an eye, it's gone. Your ambitions 6 feet under. No more waiting for the perfect moment. Your time is lost, yeah. Now we're gonna. It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Oh no, it's always tomorrow until it's too late. It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. Oh no, it's always tomorrow till it's too late. It's always tomorrow, always tomorrow, yeah. It's always tomorrow, always tomorrow, yeah. It's always tomorrow, always tomorrow, yeah. Until it's too late. Don't wait. Don't wait. Do what you want to do right now, right here, because that's all we got. I think we get so caught up in, living in the future, dwelling in the past, instead of just being in the now, because that's all we really have. This is a fun song I wrote with a friend of mine, Smash Mop Music. And it was fun because it was actually written about a guy who was just being a dick. And I was like, yes, bring it. You know what I mean? Don't play with me. There was a playground. And it's actually vocals on it, but I'm gonna sing over it. Wanna get down into danger zone? I'll take your throne. All you see is glittery, but you don't wanna mess with me. You think you're clever, smart, and cute? What's with the attitude? You're loud, you're crude, you're so not cool. Keep smiling, you look like a fool. Talking smack behind my back. Ever heard of respect? Bitches like me don't take no shit. Bitches like me call it what it is. Bitches like me fight back with brains. We can be super sweet or evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. I'm the queen. I'm JVB. Turn the mic on. I'll spit it. I see the way you stare at me. There might be a penalty. I sense your insecurity. See right through you. Screw you. Acting tough, standing tall. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I know you are afraid of me, and you should be. Bitches like me don't take no shit. Bitches like me call it what it is. Bitches like me fight back with brains. We can be sugar sweet or evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. Now. Don't pretending to be nice. I don't need you in my life. Bitches like me don't take no shit. Bitches like me call it what it is. Bitches like me fight back with brains. We can be sugar sweet or evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. What's my name? Evil like a hurricane. Evil like a hurricane. Evil like a hurricane. Yeah. That's the thing. Guys always think when a chick is like, good looking, they're dumb. It's weird. It's like, it's actually kind of funny in the crypto space. All these women are actually really good looking. It's almost freaking me. I'm always like, is she real? You know what I'm saying? So speaking of like collaborations, there was another song that I wrote, and that was really fun to write because we got a brief from a music supervisor, and they were like, yeah, we're looking for something 80s sounding with the theme is like confidence. And I'm like, oh yeah. So my collaborator and I, we wrote the song in one night, and it was so much fun. We had it done like in a couple of days. So love this song. I don't have the instrumental for this one either, so I'm just gonna sing over it again. But yeah, it's called Born to Be. And I encourage everyone, just freaking be yourself, unapologetically yourself, because everybody else is taken, and whoever doesn't like you for who you are, fuck them. Just like, be proud of who you are.
They say this and that, talk behind my back. I'm used to the attention, I know I'm different. You should try it out sometime. You know confidence ain't no crime. I don't mind the attention, it's good to be different. I'm a chameleon, I do what I want. I'm a chameleon. I was born to be me, born to be me. I was born to be me, born to be me. I was born to be me. I can see it in your eyes, trying so hard to be liked. Whatever you want to be, don't live in a fantasy. I'm a chameleon, I do what I want. I'm a chameleon. I was born to be me, born to be me. I was born to be me, born to be me. I was born to be me.
Feel free to dance.
I'm a chameleon. I'm a chameleon. I was born to be me. I'm a chameleon. Oh. I'm a chameleon. I was born to be me. You were born to be you.
Yeah. That was so much fun to write, honestly. Yes, I love writing songs. Definitely. So, I got a few more. So, should we do... All right, here's a fun one. It's called Stay. And I wrote the song actually while here being in Michigan, meeting someone. I wasn't supposed to stay. He wasn't supposed to stay. I don't know. We're still together.
It's 5 in the morning, you're still in my bed. We've been at it all night long. I know I'm in trouble. You look so damn hot, the way you look at me right now. When you judge me like that, make that honey drip, you know exactly what to do. The way you kiss my neck, slowly work your way down, baby, I want all of you. I don't wanna be alone tonight, I just want you. Stay with me, 'cause I wanna run, it's the only thing I know. Stay with me, you should be gone by now, I don't wanna fall for you. I don't. No, I
nights by the fire, dancing with the flames under the full moon over the lake. Deep conversations, the way our eyes locked, I don't wanna play it safe. 'Cause when you hold me like that, pull me close, I don't wanna let you go. I don't wanna be alone tonight, I just want you. Stay with me, 'cause I wanna run, it's the only thing I know. Stay with me, you should be gone by now, I don't wanna fall for you. I don't wanna fall for you. No, I won't. Stay with me, 'cause I wanna run. It feels too good to be true. Stay with me, you should be gone by now, I don't wanna fall for you. I don't wanna fall for you. No, I won't. Will you catch me if I do? Stay with me. It feels too good to be true. Stay with me, you should be gone by now, I don't wanna fall for you. Will you stay with me? Yes, a little bit 80s vibes. I love 80s. I love The Weeknd. Oh my god. It's definitely a little bit inspired by The Weeknd. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So this song is really fun because I wrote it in so many places. I started it in, I don't know where I started it, but it ended up being finished in Michigan. And it's called Dancing with Myself. And it was definitely about when we were all locked up, during the pandemic and nobody could go anywhere. And I was like, I can still dance with myself, and have fun. So I encourage anyone, when you don't feel well, or you feel like alone, just turn the freaking music on and start dancing. Have a party by yourself. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. Turn on the party lights, I'm gonna dance all night, oh yeah. I'm a battle fairy, I'm a rebel, baby. I do what I want, yeah. Can't lock me down, I don't need permission. Only booster I'll be taking is a shot of whiskey down in the basement. Sitting in front of the mirror, getting hot and flirty. Head to toe, I feel myself. Love me like nobody else. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. Turn on the party lights, I'm gonna dance all night. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. I'm dancing with myself, party all night. Hit live, stream it, baby. Turn it up, let's go crazy. We got our own club, and we don't give a fuck. Nice to meet ya, nice to see ya. Show me what you got, ha. Show me what you got. Stripping in front of the mirror, feeling hot and flirty. Head to toe, I feel myself. Love me like nobody else. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. Turn on the party lights, I'm gonna dance all night. myself. Me, myself, and I. Dancing with myself. Party all night. Put my hands in the air, gonna jump. Spin my favorite records, make the beat pump. Come on over if you want. We're gonna fight for a right party all night long. Put my hands in the air, gonna jump. Spin my favorite records, make the beat pump. Come on over if you want. We're gonna fight for a right party all night long. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. Turn on the party lights. I'm gonna dance all night. I'm dancing with myself, me, myself, and I. Dancing with myself. Party all night. 'Cause why not? Love starts with self-love, right? Yes. Yes. Speaking of, how we doing out there? I'm not even paying attention to the chat or nothing. It's just, yeah. Play an Out of Sorter song. I know. Oh my God, I don't really have an Out of Sorter song prepared. I'm gonna do that next time, I promise. It's funny. So I have like two laptops open, you know, one with like my set list and all that kind of stuff, and I keep trying to control one computer with yeah, it's the wrong computer I'm touching right now. So there, I said it. You know what? I want to play Feel the Loving. That was my genesis, and I'm going to re-release the song once I have figured out how to release it with 30 different pieces of artwork. That's going to make it more special. And also, each artwork has a little story with it, you know? So, because I've traveled a lot, and my dog is part of it. He's always there. So, his name is Bolt. And he's the best. Honestly, when I look at my dog, it's like weird. I'm like, I get all emotional. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. But you know, it's like when people fail you, your pet is like always there. But yeah, this is Feel the Loving, and it's gonna be re-released. What should bleed? Tear it down so you can build it up. Hold your grip, don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. Your pretty mouth, you make me dizzy. Who you trying to fool? Can you feel the loving? Hearts forever haunted. Can you feel the loving? Can you feel the loving? Hearts forever haunted. Can you feel the loving? In this Can you feel the loving? Hearts forever haunted. Can you feel the loving? Thank you, guys. Thank you. I think that's it.
I was totally grooving on that. The sound is just so awesome. Totally clear.
Oh,
Made it all
good.
yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for, I'm reading the chat now. Thank you so much. Very cool. Yeah, it's always tricky, you know, like when I first started streaming, my audio kept crackling and I didn't know what it was. For anyone who might, if that's your problem, my audio was just always too loud and I couldn't figure it out. And it would all distort. And I was like, oh my God, is it my cable? What is it? And it was like so embarrassing. I'm like in the middle of like doing my DJ set and it's like
Typically we've just dove right into it. And I'd say, just gets exciting when we have some hiccups. And luckily we're in the situation where we can experiment. Now's the time to do it, shake it out. And whatever you were doing with Decentraland clearly, translated perfectly into Twitch, and your levels were great. You could even get a good solid bass, bottom end in it.
oh, good. Yeah.
Full picture. Of course, Voxels is just, I think, has a superior audio intake. I don't know over Decentraland. I really have not heard that clear of audio out of Decentraland for some reason, but
It's just harder because it's like it takes up so much power. Sometimes, like when you're on it, the audio, gets lost. It's like, and I like the fact that here I can stream it on my phone, which is nice.
yeah.
This is really cool. I like that a lot.
Is that what you're doing right now?
I see us like on my phone. Yeah, which is
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, Voxels is reasonably lightweight, and of course, the next level is getting into these metaverse projects that are based on gaming engines. And so this one, Isles of Meta, that Binks and I have totally dove into, is Unreal Engine. And then this other one that I'm into is Unity based. And these things are pigs. And so, but if you can get enough horsepower, ultimately to get the look and feel, the audio and video codecs that are available in that, to go along with, AAA games. And so I'm excited.
The technology is exciting. It's like, I'm still feeling like every time I do a show, I'm like, oh, I hope everything's gonna go smooth, because when you play in real life, it's shit can go wrong too, but it's different, right? But when you're streaming, you're like, I hope,
Absolutely.
the video works and the audio sounds good. And because also like with OBS, what you put in and what you hear is not always the same. What I hear in my headphones, sometimes it's not exactly what I hear when I record. I always record it first to make sure everything works. So
Smart.
but yeah, thank you for having me. That was really fun.
Absolutely. NFT Music Hall is always your friend. Come on back again. Can't wait to celebrate your next releases, and definitely, Friday nights, it might be interesting to just rebroadcast what you're doing there.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk some more. This has been fantastic. So really wonderful to have you here, and great to hear your stuff. This is the first time I really got immersed in it. So definitely groovy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So on that note, we're wrapping up our 13th Alpha Artist Showcase in NFT Music Hall, and just it's amazing. So thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.